And welcome back to the Complete Idiot's Guide to Stationeers, with me, 54 Bear, the Complete Idiot. We're still on Europa, as you can see, with scenery that has not fully rendered in. That is not the remnants of my mining. Base changes. I finally gave in and added in some solar tracking. I was having issues with power, and it was taking longer to get the gas fuel generator and stuff set up than I would like. So I finally caved and put in some solar tracking. I use IC code because it is just so much easier than putting in chips. Can be done with chips, but I decided to take the easy route. Added in a couple of mods. I have the Network Painter mod, which allows me to paint an entire network of cables or pipes in a single color, which makes it a little bit easier when dealing with things like the furnace here. You may have seen from the previous short, I had a little mishap. I very carefully separated just enough volatiles that I needed to put into the furnace to get it up to temperature, swapped hands without realizing it, and I dropped in the entire mining belt, which made a rather colourful boom. So here we have a Mark II version of the furnace, which is working surprisingly well. Let me just get the power turned on here. Oh, it helps if I got the interface up. So temperature inside the room is 680 degrees. It's been that for days and days and days. You'll notice the day counter down on the bottom right, 222 days. I spent a lot of time goofing off, done some mining, tried a few things that didn't work out, and basically there was no content worthy of updating. One of the mods I put in affects how the the Meson scanner works, which I'm not certain if I actually have it installed or not. Yes, I do. And the mod allows you to select whether you want to look at pipes, as in this case, or cables or chutes, rather than showing them all at the same time. So find it a little bit easier. The blue pipes are cooling, the yellow pipes are the hot gas, and the brown pipes are the waste. The purple stuff is really related to the room itself. So as you can see, if we go around the back, the pipes that come in out of the input and output on the furnace are joined together, and there's no valves or anything in between the brown and the yellow and the purple and blue sections. It's all one large gas reservoir, and I found that actually works very well. It makes control of the furnace quite easy. If I were to redesign this, I would probably take out the insulated pipes on the inside, replace them with the uninsulated ones, and maybe use some of the utility storage as well to increase the capacity even further. I haven't had to use the initial or the hot stuff gas, apart from the initial firing. I found that the temperature in the waste tank so far has been more than adequate. Occasionally I'll have to run in some coolant. As far as draining the radiator goes, I found that having a turbo volume pump and a back pressure regulator working in tandem seems to work. But for the sake of safety, I've also added a liquid drain to it as well. Both of these pumps can be turned off by hitting the switch on this transformer. Anyway, that's it for the furnace. There's no major changes since the first build, but I did relocate the turbo volume pumps for the hot stuff and the gas and the liquid, so that it just makes a little bit more sense for the way I want to operate. This purple valve here manually, this will vent out the contents of the furnace room in the event that the pressure goes up too fast. However, once it reaches temperature, the the volume, the pressure regulators can usually deal with it without too much issue. Both of these feed into and out of the waste tank. Again, I haven't really need to go back into the hot stuff tank apart from the initial firing of the furnace. Actually, I do need some silicon, so let me just drop that in. Turn it back on. Yeah, none of these ores have been degassed yet, so every time you drop ores in there, it will cool the furnace down as the ore's off gas. But generally speaking, don't need to do much with it. It works much better than I'd anticipated. Having the furnace in a sealed room makes a huge difference. I mentioned the network painter. That actually has a very practical use. You'll notice at the moment the power cables are purple. If I grab a can of, let's see, let's do pink. Oh, it's already pink. Alright, so let's make it green. It paints the entire colour, and again, turning the sensor lenses back on and switching to cable, you can see very quickly if there's a break in the cable. And the reason why I changed the colour is all I really need to do is go to the very end of the chain. If it hasn't changed colour, then I know there's a break. That's a bit of an issue because I have probably too many wind turbines. These small ones up here aren't even connected any longer. Well, they were moved up there and I just never bothered putting them back on. Whenever there's a storm, there's a good chance that one of the cables will burn out, so I put a fuse there. This here is my fuel tank for the gas fuel generator. I just literally filled it up with hydrogen or volatiles from the ice crusher, added this little circuit that is looking at the oxygen ratio. Let me get the paint out of there so I can read it. Ideally it needs to be 33 or 0.00 or 0.3333, which is a third. So this is reading the oxygen ratio, and with a little bit of math, it's controlling the logic writer, and this is actually controlling the setting of the volume pump. So you see the setting is actually going down. As it approaches the 33.3, then it really becomes very fine control. So when this thing finally finishes, it will be an exact to the hundredth of a percentage point. It will be a third. It was just really an exercise in how easy would it be to do that. Which brings us to this new room. This is where I've got my gas fuel generator. Oh, I don't want to be painting anything. And I've also put in some Stirlings. I've experimented here with a little three-way airlock system. The door that I'm pointing at now, glass door 1, and this one, the composite door, they're the two airlock doors. This one here is just literally slaved to be open or closed based on the other one. It's not a perfect way of doing it. If I click this, all it does is it closes that door. It doesn't actually operate the airlock, whereas this one does. And it closes both of them. The airlock now works as normal. The advantage is you can go out both ways. So in here I've got the gas fuel generator. I can fire it up, but it won't fire for long because the internal environment is just not right enough for it. It needs room temperature. The Stirlings, on the other hand, do work. This brown pipe here is connected to the both the waste tanks for both furnaces, so I've got a good supply of hot gas in there, 813 degrees. The waste from one feeds into the next one, and you generate a reasonable amount of power. Yeah, of course it won't flash, but yeah, from here you can see the working gas efficiency. That's using hydrogen. That apparently is the best gas, and you don't get any better than 15% on that. The warmer the room gets in here, you'll notice it's currently minus 35, the better the operating environment the environment operating efficiency gets. I don't know if it goes above 100. I've not really played with the Stirlings enough, but you can use these to get the room warmer. At some point, if I carried on using these and the gas fuel generator, the room in here would get very hot, and obviously it would need cooling. So I need to do something in here that will actually manage the cooling, probably just by dragging in outside air, ambient air, and allowing that to warm up. But yeah, I wanted to play with it a little and see if I can get the warm oxygen saved. I know I don't need it. It's just part of the way I play the game is I don't like wasting anything. I won't even empty, even at this point, if I get a gas, a waste tank warning, I'll still try and empty it into the base. I've redone this cooling system. What's critical? Oh, power. Okay. Yeah, I've redone this cooling system so that it gets the CO2 down. It seems to work okay. It really needs a volume pump as opposed to a back pressure regulator. I seem to recall the back pressure regulators used to work a lot faster. I could be wrong, but volume pumps seem to work out quite well. And that's really it. I'm embracing the messy look. I was having creaking pipes, so I just added an additional tank for the nitrogen. No idea why I'm keeping it. It has no purpose whatsoever. But as I mentioned before, I just dislike throwing things away. And you know what? If it makes the base look a little bit messier and a little bit untidier and a bit less organized, I kind of like that look. There's obviously something wrong with me, but there you go. Yeah, the industrial look on steroids, maybe. At some point, I may even get into some unnecessary greebles. Anyway, that's where we are at the moment. I do plan on getting the gas fuel generator and the Stirlings fully operational, just for the shits and giggles. To be honest, now with the solar tracking up there, I really don't need it. I don't have the power issues. I've got a couple of batteries that I printed up, which I will find space to store. I'm thinking of doing something in this room here, just as like a battery storage room or something like that, and expanding the base, or this bit of the base, out that way. Don't really know. The next big thing is the deep miners. I have never, not even in a creative world, I have never put a deep miner together or a combustion centrifuge, so I've got no idea how they work, and I look forward to finding out, and maybe I'll share the journey. Hope you enjoyed it. That's all for this one. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you in the next one. 54 Bear out.